Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yours. Got lots of love. Got lots of love. Lots of love. Love. Got 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 lots of love. Love.
back. It's a brand new season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss. Look who's starting it all off. It's Raven.
No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through from me. He's just gonna solidify everything from Mythos.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
NKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lores, you're gonna be able to find these shots true.
Inu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes the Nanoblade immediately comes back like fine skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2, 3, so back and forth.
Hello everyone and welcome on back to CGL Season 17 NA Diamond Division as we kick off Week 2 virtus.pronouns Academy versus the Cuddle Puddle. I'm D-Lo here in the booth, joined by my side. We got Mega Ninja 44. He's killed 43 other ninjas just to get here. Hippie, Almighty Eye in the sky, keeping the prod lights on that cam steady, and B buzzing somewhere in the background as well. Ninja, how are we feeling?
You know, I'm a little tired. I had to kill 43 ninjas to get here, but I'm happy to be here. I'm excited to be back in the booth, quote unquote booth. But no, I'm excited to cast. I'm excited to be paired with you for the first time, and I'm excited for this match. I'm excited for these two teams. You know, looking into the background a little bit about these two teams, Cuddle Puddle and virtus.pronouns. I mean, Cuddle Puddle has been a team that you know, got really high placements in previous seasons of CGL. They got Rookie of the Year last year in Season 16.
Nice.
And so I'm really excited to see these teams perform and see what they can do, really.
And as an ESL teacher myself, seeing anyone who's an academic in pronouns is certainly getting me excited. So everyone make sure you're using your I's, your U's, your we's, and your plural U's correctly, or I will be knocking into that chat getting upset. But Cuddle Puddle as well, trying to give some love and maybe some war as well. Lovers and fighters both. See what they can do on the battlefield. And speaking of, what battlefield will it be is going to be the question as we take a look at what that first map is. Nepal is going to be the thing to start it all off.
Yeah, since we are in the patch currently, where, you know, even though those new characters just came out, they're not going to be enabled just yet in our scene. So we aren't going to be seeing any Onron, any Emre, any of those kind of characters. No Jetpack Cat flying off the map today.
What?
So I know. I was excited to see it too, but unfortunately, it is going to be Jetpack Cat is going to be shot down today. But we do have, you know, a kind of not really a full meta composition that could be cooking up here. But I do think that Zarya Vendetta is definitely a pick of a premier choice in terms of comps. So hopefully we'll see something like that. Maybe the bans will kind of dictate what kind of comps we run. You know, it kind of just depends on what the bans are, what teams are feeling comfortable playing. You know, we're a lot of Kiri Lucio backlines. They're running amok nowadays. Maybe you ban out a Kiriko if you're not feeling comfortable. Maybe you ban out a Lucio if you don't have a Lucio player. Definitely options on the table. You know, after the first map, we'll kind of have more of a tell on what these teams like to play.
Do you long for the days of the Tracer Ditto Ninja, or are you proud and happy to see a blade-wielding fellow join the battlefield and kind of dictate the DPS terms instead?
You know, I am a fan of the Genji. Tracer is an interesting character to me. Tracer is definitely an interesting one. The flex DPS as a whole is definitely a role that I feel more comfortable on, even though I am a tank player. But flex DPS are definitely some interesting choices. I know a lot of the times metas dictate that there's always one hit scan, one flex DPS. It's like the Sith rule of 2. There's always one master and one apprentice. There's always one flex DPS and one hit scan. So there's sometimes we do see a double flex DPS come out.
That's true.
In very rare cases. It's I don't think there's ever been a double hit scan meta except for like on Watchpoint Gibraltar. But I personally like flex DPS. I think it shows a lot of skill as a player because it doesn't rely on just you clicking your mouse. But flex DPS it has a love-hate relationship in my heart as a tank player, but also as a guy who enjoys watching really cool plays.
Well, a lot of those plays, like you said, have been executed by these Vendettas, who has been stomping, slicing up, and dicing up the meta like a hibachi chef. And it's been interesting, in the time that I've seen since her advent, since her release, and havoc that she's wreaked upon the meta, no one really likes to typically start off a series with a Vendetta ban, despite how much she can, potentially, a good Vendetta, can carry a series, can carry a game. I think that's normally because, like you said, it dictates the pace. You want to try to see who wins the Vendetta Ditto before we decide who's going to end up taking that pawn off of the board. But Nepal, like you also mentioned, Zarya does a great job in enabling her, and I think Zarya is a case where a lot more preference can be had. A lot of tank players that I've seen, very talented ones, sometimes just really don't execute well on the character, so it wouldn't be a surprise for me to see that pillar of the dynamic duo fall first.
Yeah, I think tank bans are pretty common on terms like Nepal. I know a lot of teams. I think Zarya is a really divisive kind of tank.
Yes.
Because I feel like teams either really enjoy playing the Zarya or the teams really hate playing the Zarya and they hate that character as a whole. So they try to ban it out immediately. They don't want to play into it. They're like, guys, I'm just going to play Reinhardt. We're going to pin on in there, and I don't want to deal with any Zarya bubbles to stop my pins. So Zarya definitely could be an option as a ban. And also the thing with Zarya is like in the current meta that we're in, Vendetta, what they like, all you have to do in your meta as a team is you just enable your Vendetta, right? You speed your Vendetta, you bubble your Vendetta, you give cooldowns to your Vendetta. It's just poor. It's like going all in at the casino. You just give everything to the Vendetta and pray she kills 5. Let it ride.
You know, we
I
gotta
know exactly
her.
what you're talking about. I know
We
exactly
gotta know
what you're
her
talking about.
in the building. We're in the archives. We're getting the demons out here, and we're trying to exercise some of them as well on this picks and bans boards. Now, Ninja alluded to some of the ideas we might be seeing here. It could be the Zarya. It could very well be the Vendetta if someone's really feeling shaky on that pick, or we could see some backline snipes at that Lucio Kiriko that does such a good job of enabling that Vendetta to dive and disengage so easily. But it's going to be first up for Cuddle Puddle. Where does your eye roam? What is your bet going to be?
Yeah, I think if I'm Cuddle Puddle, I definitely have more standard picks in terms of bans. You could ban out the Kiri, the Lucio. You could do kind of like mainstays of the composition if you're not comfortable on it. You could ban out the Zarya. You could ban out the Vendetta. Okay, a Freya ban coming through is actually quite interesting. I don't think that's the DPS I would have banned. I guess on Nepal, it is a little... you have longer sightlines on that Freya, which does, kind of whittle down that tank a little bit. But I don't know if that's what I personally would have banned. I probably would have banned out, maybe one of those tanks that are a little bit stronger. You could ban out the Ramatra. You could ban out the D.Va especially. I know D.Va's a really strong tank right now. But the Freya ban is a little interesting to me, I'll be honest.
Maybe potentially just a way to protect that Vendetta for this round if they were fearing the potential for it to be banned, or maybe some other DPS hero. Or maybe Cuddle Puddle just really disliked the Freya and what it allows for that long-range poke damage. Nonetheless, it's now going to be VP up on the slot. And like you said, plenty of tank options, plenty of supports as well. Who they decide to go for really just going to come down to personal preference of what they find more frustrating from a Blakett standpoint. Neither of these teams, of course, have gotten to see what they do when it comes to their fight on the field. So at this point, we're all just rocking off of vibes.
Yeah, I mean, again, standard picks. You could ban a Zarya. I mean, the support and the tank are both open right now, so you could ban a Kiriko, you could ban a Zarya, you could ban a D.Va, a Ram, Wu Yang if you want. There's...
Sure.
You know what? Throw in a Mercy ban. Why don't you? I think this first map is going to be really telling about what these teams want to play. And yeah, we do see that Ram ban come through, which, it kind of shows me that Virtus.pronouns wants to play with that Zarya. I think that's definitely something that they feel comfortable on if they're going to ban the Ram instead of something like that Zarya.
Well, the question is who's going to be playing all these varied heroes. That's going to be answered just momentarily as we get to take a look at the rosters here. VP will be coming up first, and what a mighty fine 5 they've got up to the slot. Bandit Soul, as well as the Father Mary, there we go, Ure and Minty, trying to keep it nice and fresh here on the battlefield. And they're all important opponents, of course. The Cuddle Puddle cannot be underestimated either. They might look like they're all sweet and hugs, but let me tell you, it might be an embrace of death. Karma, Andor Fragster, Vernix, and Executi might be looking all sweet and debonair, but just you wait. They'll kill you.
I do wanna shout out one thing really quickly. Bandit, I've learned got a new dog named Mr. Peanut Butter, which I think is a really awesome and cool name. So congratulations, Bandit, on getting your new dog. That's very sweet, and I love dogs. So if you see this in post, be sure to send me a photo of your dog, please, and thank you.
Give them lots of pets. This does impact gameplay, by the way, folks, because you got to imagine Bandit, after getting a new dog, probably not operating off a ton of sleep. So if you see Bandit missing a few important headshots, some good overclock kills that just get fallen to the wayside, please give them some grace. They are trying to take care of another furry friend. That being said, and they take care of the 5 opponents standing up against them. Only something that remains to be seen here as we step into the first map, which will be Nepal of this first to 3. And I want to go back to the Ramatra Bank, because I do think it's very interesting. Nepal is a map that can be very claustrophobic at times, especially, of course, control map. You have to touch one central location. You don't want to deal with an annihilation. It's one of the most frustrating things in the world to have to go up against when you're trying to vie for control in an overtime scramble situation. Doesn't surprise me one bit, but I am curious if they also make good on your second prediction. Is that the opening for that Zarya to come through?
Yeah, I think that Zarya's in a really strong spot right now. It also kind of depends on the sub map. I think Nepal has options in terms of what you want to do. You know, there's definitely not a set, there's not a set in stone meta right now, which I think is really nice. I think the fact that there's so many variations of things you can play. Obviously, there are some there are some characters that are stronger than others, right? You know, I'm not going to run Hog in today's age. But, you know, you can run things like the Sigma, like the Zarya, like the Diva. You know, it really just depends on preference. And that's really nice about the meta right now. There's not a set composite. There's no more Malga slop right now. I'm crossing my fingers that we still don't see any Malga once the season starts up for OWCS. But I'm excited to see what these teams roll out on.
What a hater. No, I don't blame you one bit. You don't want to see someone just eat up a bunch of bullets while also dishing them back out. Honeybee here. Your almighty eye in the sky, buzzing about the battlefield while making sure to keep these pristine, crisp camera angles, sweet as honey. Thank you very much there, B. Appreciate you, as well as our other prod, our friend Hippie. Once again, Dilo, Ninja, in the booth. 10 great players in the field here. Taking a look at what compositions we're starting to see form up. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna look at these, and I'm liking the backlines. Lelucio is a really important character right now, especially with that new sub role passive. I don't remember what it's called. I think it's called Tactician, where you get 25% to your next ult charge, which I think is really strong. I'm liking these tanks also.
So does our friend Fragster. In the first one on top of the snake, gotta cut the head off it. The rest of the body might go limp, and in fact, the tank will fall as well. This fight's good as one already. Cuddle Puddle, they will certainly get priorities to the point. Soul in a bit of trouble, able to retreat back to the front lines. And it's that Genji you mentioned before. It's also the mobility that I'm seeing here from Virtus, a far more stagnant composition. Cuddle Puddle literally freeze in place between Fragster and Endoryu. They're just going to try to put up a little bastion around this point and never let the walls fall down.
Yeah, I think the Mei is a really interesting choice on Nepal. The walls can do so much against somebody like that Hazard. You could stop his leaps, you can freeze him in place. Bandit, wow, already getting an open pick on Karma. That's not a great pick here.
It does not feel good to see yourself going down to your body double moment, but that does mean Cuddle Puddle might have to go back to retreat. It is a contest from Fragster. Hesitant one. Spike shield put up, but Fragster's got plenty of health there to work with. The accretion means that Hazard can't say the same, and another great play there from Cuddle Puddle's tank ensures that they retain this point.
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised that they managed to maintain the point, considering they were the ones who lost somebody first. Oh my god, Fragster has to be careful not to lose his HP. The nice wall there from the Mei to keep rid of the Lucio. And now you look at these ult charges that are coming online. Cuddle Puddle almost at 3 ults here. And I mean, virtus.pronouns have just the overclock. Bandit, let's see if you can make your dog proud. But I'm favoring Cuddle Puddle right now.
Yeah, a bit more bark than bite so far from VP at the moment. And I think that issue that we saw when we had the the Hazard on the point was just that there's no one there to follow up off of it, right? And especially this Mei, so useful in the sense that not only are these walls just going to be hard to circumvent with a violent leap that does not have much vertical mobility, can't be very mobile either if you're dead. Suzu going to be able to save the Hazard for a little bit more time. But the issue is they block off the entire point as well, given that it's inside. Gravity Flux comes through, but the Tracer manages to dodge it. Unfortunately, Mary can't dodge these hands. Fragster is fragging it up and absolutely murdering anyone who steps within punching range. Lucio, better watch out. You're the one about to get booped by these hands.
Yeah, okay, I like the Kiriko saying, "Get down, Mr. President," for their Lucio trying to get them out from that rock. But what I really like about Cuddle Puddle's composition is the way that they're like isolating this Hazard. You know, they're walling him off, they're forcing him to use cooldowns, and then when all he can do is block, Fragster just chucks a rock directly at his face at 400 miles an hour, and they're able to finish him off. And so these are really good like cooldown management uses, and now we're going to be in last fight territory with a Blizzard on the point.
Overclock comes through from Bandit, but unfortunately it's just too little, too late. And it's going to have to watch with puppy dog eyes as the first round goes against them. Cuddle Puddle with a really solid start.
That's not a great C9. You know, I think they definitely had a touch there, and they had beat available, and I think beat was actually used. So don't love that C9 from virtus.pronouns. But now we're going to see some swaps coming through. We are going to see a ball swap and an ash swap from the side of virtus.pronouns. It's going to be okay. So the ball hopefully shouldn't be shut down as much as the Hazard from things like the wall, like the rock. I mean, obviously you can still get rocked as a ball, but you can escape a lot easier than as Hazard. I guess you have less damage and you have less impact, but you know, you have options now on your table,
as well as just not being as easy to quite hit. Hazard, while mobile, certainly can't say they're as spherical and as easy to bounce around as the Hammond will be. So, see if they're able to find any more luck that way. Ash, of course, can also put up a solid stalwart effort, gets kills. And Soul, for the first time, I think, in the entire series so far, getting that pick on Karma. That's a good start here so far for VP.
Yeah, that wall is going to try to cut off this ball's escape, but he doesn't really care. He's just going to keep swinging around the point. And now you're in a position where, Fragster gets a nice pick on a Yuri with that accretion. And so right now, both of these teams kind of just trying to secure this first objective, and Executee going to be next to fall from Soul. Beautiful on this Tracer here. Big slam onto the objective. It's going to pretty much all but guarantee virtus.pronoun gets this first cap, as long as the ball getting traded is actually not great.
Yikes, but Yuri will manage to come back from the grave and deal out some vengeance to Fragster. This fight's been detankified. It's going to be up to Mei instead to put up the effort. Soul cancels back by grabbing the kill on the Mei, and that does ensure VP, a hard-fought effort, finally grabbed that point for their side.
Yeah, I really like the way that VP played there, especially with that ball. I mean, the Ash was able to apply so much pressure with things like Dynamite. The ball was able to just circumnavigate the walls incredibly well. And now we are in a position where both DPS ults are going to be online here for Virtus Pro. Oh, and we have a pause.
Well, then. Not the paws we want to see. I want to see paws that are attached to a cat. In a jetpack, preferably, but... I have to put my hand on your shoulder and be like, I'm sorry that I have to let you down like this. But there's no cat today. I'm sorry, there's no cat today. Man, this game sucks. No, it's fine. We'll get that in just a couple weeks after Twitter finally dies down. You know, while we have this pause, Mega Ninja, what are your thoughts on the cat? I know there's quite a lot of ire going around there from the Twitter bots that are saying that they should never have added something that silly into the game.
I think the cat provides a lot of opportunity. I think the cat allows creativity to roam free in Overwatch for the first time in a hot minute. That's going to be all I say about it as we get back into the game. Karma's going to find a kill on a Soul, and it looks like Cuddle Puddle are just going to re-engage quickly on the point. Bob gets utilized, gets thrown onto the objective here, but I don't think it's going to amount to all too much as long as Fragster is able to be kept alive.
Yeah, Karma's able to take that one down. Cannon event. Cole Cassidy drops down the Wobble Bandit. Here comes the Hamster Nose. Been a hard time shutting him down, especially those mines placed down. It's a sound barrier in response, and Karma takes down Soul one more time. Bandit's got an uncontested aim, though, at anyone who tries to step into the point. Breaks the barrier and starts to flick on some skulls as well. Could be trouble if no one's there to contest the Ash.
Yeah, the Sash is doing so much, but man, this has been expensive for virtus.pronouns, and they don't even have the objective. Snake is going to be the next to fall. Yuri's really close to this beat already, but Bandit's finally getting looked at. 94 HP, has to kite. Oh, doesn't get the kite in time. Fraxter gets that kill. And now Cuddle Puddle are actually at the advantage. They still have the objective, and now they're at the ult advantage with that Flux, with that Rush available. The High Noon is also coming up. Virtus.pronouns, they have the beat, yes, but it's 1-3, and I don't really know how you're going to do that. And it was really good of Cuddle Puddle to stay on the objective the whole time. That's something that their comp really excels at, is bunkering on this objective no matter how long the fight stalls out. The ball has to roll off, get packs, stuff like that, but Cuddle Puddle doesn't have to do that, and that allows them to get so much percentage on this board.
And the issue was that even that Bandit had that great open angle. Is start off with Mary getting a great open kill on top of Karma. Hold on a second though. Sooner Rush comes out from executing. You make with it. Fragster trying to isolate, take down Bandit once more. Has clearly got them as the apple of their eye, but Bandit has got targets of their own. Takes down Warenix. It's going to be trouble there to keep the Sigma up in good arms, especially with executing offline as well. Everyone is scrounging for any health they can have, and Andoryu's got some self-sustain, but not going to last for too long before the pain gets dropped down. Snake bites him in the neck, and they sink to the ground, dead. VP back on point.
You know, I've always wanted a pet snake. Have are you a fan of pet snakes?
I don't think I'd get one myself for that exact reason, but I am a very big appreciator of the reptiles. They're cool.
That's fair. Okay, Cuddle Puddle having to swap over to that Sombra now off of the Mei. Going to try to go for a re-engage here. 80%, not too bad. High Noon gets utilized here from Karma. Not maybe going to be able to do all too much. Maybe. Oh, just kidding. Bandit gets hacked and gets shot in the face by Karma.
I am the law.
More accurate.
That's
more
it
accurate,
is.
right?
Gotta keep the Matic consistency, baby. And also Sombra doing exactly what they were brought here to do, which is try to put a slow in the roll of that ball. Soul drop down to a grinding halt as Fragster finds Gravity Flux on them and brings them back down 6 feet under. Cuddle Puddle retake control. They're 10% up and nearing victory.
You know, I actually really like this kite from virtus.pronouns. They don't actually commit any ults, and Cuddle Puddle popped 2 of their own. Now they just have this beat online, and virtus.pronouns have almost 5 ults of their own. The Bob is going to be first used, but Bandit, it gets blown up almost immediately. This Bob could provide so much value if used correctly. It is going to be put onto that objective, and Execute is going to be the first to fall. Beat's going to get applied. Also, and the flip comes through, and now Cuddle Puddle is going to be at a disadvantage. They don't have bodies on the objective. They don't have the people to stay alive, and this might be going the way of virtus.pronouns, and if they play it correctly, this could potentially be last fight.
They got corpses certainly on the battlefield instead. Cuddle Puddle certainly are going to make some sort of pile, but it's unfortunately one of lifeless bodies of their team. There's going to be a pivot over the Diva to ensure they can get a hasty retouch if necessary. You gotta rely on Vernix staying alive long enough to get that beat off. Only ult in pocket. Execute, he certainly couldn't. The sound barrier only reaches the ears of their lifeless body. Now they could be looking for the Lucio instead. Fragster trying to ensure they get something for their troubles, but Snake responds back with a Sweeney Rush of their own before their heads lopped off. Vernix dead as well. Fragster demected. This could be all they wrote, as VP still a priority on the point. It's an over TM as well, and Doryu's got nothing left in the tank. No life, no friends. Soul beats him down as VP stand tall at the end of the day. They tie it up. It's 1-1.
Hey, what do you know? When VP have ults and they touch the objective, they actually win a round. What do you know? That's I like seeing that. It might be a shocker to some, but this is not a team deathmatch game. This is actually an objective-based game, which is really nice to see. Really good plays here from virtus.pronouns. I think they feel a lot more comfortable on that ball. I think definitely better than that hazard for sure. I mean, they were able to just utilize ults so well, understand cooldown management so incredibly well, and Cuddle Puddle, I think, you know, maybe over-ulted one too many times, and it just allowed them to kind of get finished at the end there.
I also think the fact that we pivoted to the Sombra a bit late, I think Andoryu honestly found a good response. That Mei was just, like you said, being circumvented, was being outflanked, outmaneuvered at every turn. But just as soon as you maybe see Andoryu considering going back to that Sombra, it's a zig where they zag. Winton on the field.
Winston is definitely interesting. I think it allows you to play into that Sigma a little bit better, but you have to worry about the Sombra. If the Sombra hacks you when you jump in, it is all but over for you. You will be put on a serving platter, and so you have to be a little careful about your dives here, and they're going to be looking at these objective, and Snake is going to find the kill onto that Sombra, and that's probably going to be Cuddle Puddle's go ahead to just, you know, back up just a little bit.
Wow! What a great disruptor, and what a great leap as well. The fact that you mentioned the weakness for the Winston is going to be the Sombra. How we just remove her from the equation, and they try not to overextend. Soul goes down, and Vernix is the cost. Cuddle Puddle. Got to make sure they actually touch the point. They can. Well, let's see.
Oh,
VP ends up
that's
grabbing
a
instead. It is going to be VP's priority despite the kill on top of Yuri. No! A tick away. Unfortunately there for VP. Going to try to absorb all the lightning from the sky, but Fragster's got nothing left. It strikes twice as Bandit and Mary going to combine for 2. Werenix does get the answered kill on top of the Winston, but it's too little, too late. VP take point.
Oh man. Okay, Karma almost low-key, I saw the vision there from Karma there for a hot minute. I was a believer there for a hot minute. I thought he might have been able to clutch up, but not able to secure the now we're in a position where Bandit has this overclock online. Cuddle Puddle have a couple ults cooking up, but if they use this overclock fast enough, they could just win out the fight outright. Not able to connect that rock, and so Bandit has to kite, but should probably re-ingress with this overclock.
Let's see if they can actually make sure to find it. Looking for Fragster here. The first one to fall down, but Mary unfortunately takes a fall instead. A quick tumble off the map, and that loses all the momentum that VP had. They have to cede the point without any blood being spilled either. Cuddle Puddle happy to take it, but maybe Bandit looks to win it back with a quick overclock. Drops Virtus with the quickness on the right flank. Can they find anything else is the question. Looks for the Reaper, finds one shot, but it's in the body, not the head, and that means they're not quite dead just yet. So far, Kitsune Rush comes out from Cuddle Puddle as the response, and Doryu finally goes down to Disruptor. Soul being hunted down. The rock is going to force them to Swift Strike back out to safety. End of the day, point still in control here of Cuddle.
I mean, the fight's not over just yet. We have a beat almost online. Andor going to be swapping over to that Tracer to come back faster. We do have the bodies of virtus.pronouns jumping on the objective. The Primal's going to finally be popped here, and they're trying to look for something to get done. Soul is able to find a kill on a Karma. Everybody is half HP. Execute's going to be next to fall. There's just a Lucio left alive. This Primal's going absolutely nuclear. Going to apply so much damage, and virtus.pronouns actually walk away winning that engagement despite the Winston actually bumping his head and falling into a pit. So, you know, definitely interesting to see. I was so confused by the overclock commitment after your Winston jumped off the map, but I apologize. I wasn't familiar with their game. They were able to get it done, and now Frags are going to swap over to that Orisa, try to shut down this Winston a little bit more, but the ults are all in the favor of Pronouns right now.
Bandit bought that dog, said, now I got that dog in me, baby. Also got a sound barrier around you. There's one response from Cuddle Puddle. Can it keep Execute alive this time around, or can Werenix even survive as the Genji tries to chase them out? It's an attempt to take out Fragster, and it's a great bump there from Yuri to ensure that is the case. Now Cuddle Puddle stand without their tank once more. Can they do much about it? Bandit from the sideline takes pot shots and executes Executing. Their head will roll and forces back in. Doryu on the Tracer might even be able to force out the kill, but not quite just yet. Nonetheless, it needs to be a touch here from the DPS to ensure there's more time. Cuddle Puddle will grab it. Can they finish the job? All comes down to this third round fight. Karma gonna go down already. And Vernix is gonna follow as well. Fragster will be the next one up. And VP all but assure their victory on this first map. It's a brilliant massacre. It's a team kill as the punctuation point at the end of the sentence. Map 1 goes to VP.
Wow, that was, you know, if I was to watch the first submap of that, I would not have predicted this outcome. But now we know a little bit more about the preferences of these two teams, right? You want the Soj, you like the Kiri Lucio. So now if I'm the side of Cuddle Puddle, I'm like, maybe I don't feel so confident in that Sojourn Mirror. Maybe I don't want to take that Sojourn Mirror, so I'm deciding that I'm going to swap, you know, maybe ban out that Soj, maybe, you know, shut down Bandit a little bit, because I think he went kind of crazy. And also something that was an issue was Doryu trying to just kind of feeling lost on that flex DPS role. They swapped a couple of times. They felt confident on that first submap on that May, but then I feel like they kind of, you know, played a little bit of mystery heroes. We're on that Sombra, swapped to the Reaper at one point, ended up on Tracer at the end. Definitely, you know, it didn't feel like they had a really sound, solid idea about what they wanted to play in that role. So maybe you can ban out a flex DPS and try to, you know, just figure out what exactly you want to play on this next map. But I mean, Cuddle Puddle now have map choice and first ban. So the ball is really in their court wherever they decide to go and do.
Yeah, it's a case of mid-map crisis. You're not sure who you are, what you want to be. You look at the mirror, you're 40 years old, you're like, shoot, do I really want to play Tracer? I'm already Tracer. What about Widowmaker? And then you just keep on going through the list until you're dead, like that. What a great boop there by Vornix, by the way, on top of Fragster. Fragster was doing a fantastic job to start things off. It seemed like they lost a bit of momentum near the end. I'm not sure if it's because the supporting pillars just weren't there with them, but I think you also made a really good shout to Bandit there on the Ashe before they were contested by Fragster, and you could see Fragster recognized the enemy, the threat that was Bandit, but once they reached that Sojourn, all that added mobility made it that much harder to check them.
I think what was really crazy and what really like I think cemented that for me, that idea that Bandit was the problem, was when Fragster was looking so hard at the Ashe on that first submap, and Bandit did not care. Bandit did not care and still gets the pick on the Lucio. Do you know how much raw aura he gained from that exact moment where he decides, I don't care about this tank who's shooting at me, I'm getting my one.
Plus 10,000 social credit. Very impressive.
I think that's close. That's close.
Maybe
Social
we'll get an arbitration. It could very well be 15,000, but either way, what it really means is one map win there for virtus.pronouns Academy. That feels really solid. But like you said, Cuddle Puddle do have control of the board. The ball is in their court, even though the ball was played by the opponent. We'll find out what the venue is as we hippity hop on over to our next map pick. Nepal was the choice last time around, and this go, it's another one that you know and love, Kings Row.
You know, I have a funny story about Kings Row, actually, if you don't mind me going on a little bit of a tangent.
Go.
I was casting with somebody who was very new to the scene in terms of Overwatch and also casting. And I asked them what they thought that the comps were going to be played. And they said that they thought Reinhardt was going to be played. They thought that this was going to be the Reinhardt map. And I had to tell them with sorrow in my heart that Reinhardt hasn't been meta on Kings Row in many, many moons. I felt very bad doing it, but
you monster.
But it had to be done, and so Kings, you could run that Diva, sure, man, run the Rhyme. We could see it happen, right, guys?
Next headline: Mega Ninja tells school full of elementary kids that Santa's not real.
I would not
Headline
do that. That is just not something that I would do.
Sounds like you already did.
No,
crazy.
No, that's not what I did.
Ruined that poor caster's life. Cuddle Puddle trying to ruin up some of the momentum gained here by VP this go around. So, like you alluded to, do we ban the Sojourn? We saw them ban out the DPS last go around. The Freya was the eye of their apple, but let's see if it's going to be the case this time around or if they maybe look elsewhere.
I think if I'm Cuddle Puddle, I'm looking at that, maybe that, like, you either look at the hit scan or the flex. You can ban out maybe like a Tracer, maybe like a Genji, try to narrow the choices that your flex DPS, try to make that a mirror match. Well, look at that. A Tracer ban comes through for Cuddle Puddle. Pretty good ban, I would say. It kind of narrows the options and it makes your flex DPS more comfortable on what they want to play. I think Tracer's a really strong character right now, especially. And then from the side of pronouns, you have your supports and tanks open. You could ban another tank. This could be the Zarya ban. Neither team played Zarya on Nepal. You could definitely ban out that Zarya. Could ban out that Diva. Diva's pretty strong on Kings Row themselves. Could ban out the Kiriko. Could ban out Lucio, even though you're playing both of those, just to kind of throw a monkey wrench into the equation. Virtus Pro have a lot of options here.
There's definitely quite a light board, and I wouldn't be surprised to see. Yes, exactly. I was about to say go back to that tank, and indeed, the Zarya is going to be picked out. Ramatra's back, open and available, and in these brawl, close quarters kind of maps, especially on that first point, it could certainly be a solid option. I would not be surprised now with this Tracer banned away, and with the potential prevalence of a Mei incoming from Andoryu. Vendetta, I feel like there's a good forecast for her since she's so easily able to vertically evade those structures.
Okay, I see your point, but the Zarya has been banned out, so
that's true.
That lowers the chances of it has made the rain forecast go from like a 90% to like a 50%. I would say. I think Zarya and Vendetta are such a strong duo, the dynamic duo, the Batman and Robin of the current meta, that you definitely do have. You could technically still run that Vendetta. You could run that Vendetta, but you're just not going to be able to enable her as much. She can't engage as much as she wants to. So maybe we see that come through. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Soj mirror yet again. And then maybe on the side of Flex, you could run the Genji. Maybe we see a Genji mirror. What I'm really more interested in is these tanks. I think that there's definitely options on the tank lineup. I think with Zarya gone, you can kind of play that Diva. You could maybe go the Orisa on a bad day. Ram is now in the playing field, and so now there's options available, and I'm excited to see what comes out of this.
we'll be finding out rather shortly. But one thing's for sure, that VP certainly had the momentum, especially for the fact that, like you mentioned, that first round, you look at that Cuddle Puddle, they're feeling great. That feels like eons ago. That feels like ages at this point. Cuddle Puddle need to try to capture the lightning that they found in that bottle. And maybe it, again, comes from the fact that &OR U was in a really prime position to play that Mei well before they got a bit of a sense of DID, dissociative identity disorder, with their picks. And now you're in a spot where the Mei could very well be a really solid, contentious pick to stall at that first point. We'll find out, though, if that's going to end up being the case as we wait for that next map to kick off and get back to the races.
Yeah, I think we're getting a substitution going in real quick. Executee is going to be subbed out for Onion. So, you know, definitely an interesting option. Maybe Onion is a player that has a specialty on King's Row. Maybe they have a composition in their mind. There is a world in which you run the Rhine, Bastion, Mei, Bap, Lucio. There's a world. Is it this one? The odds are less likely, but there is a world.
As long as the world worth fighting for, Overwatch will be there to help stop them. And we'll find out who's going to be on that squad in just a moment. Imagine if, like, you call it Overwatch for, like, some sort of world-ending crisis. A cat with a jetpack shows up, a hamster in a ball, and just, like, some guy who's, like, should be in a retirement home, should be in hospice care. I'm looking at you, soldier. What are you even doing here? Go home.
It is, dude. I'm gonna be so honest with you. The jetpack cat lore to me is astonishing. They're so advanced with their lore in every other character, and then jetpack cat, they're like, yeah, a cat walked into Watchpoint Gibraltar and Brig gave it a jetpack, and then they wiped their hands clean. They're like, all right, that should be enough, right, guys? And then
everyone wept and clapped.
and then everybody clapped. And okay, interesting that we still see the Curie Lucio on that backline. Maybe Cutie is being subbed out for a specific reason. We do see the Mei also come through, and Fraxer on that Ramatra that was banned out previously. Both teams on the Ramatra, actually, from Misery on virtus.pronouns. But I don't think some of these options are going to be implemented all the way.
Really?
I doubt we'll see Junkrat, and I doubt we'll see Lifeweaver.
Aw, come on. You're just not a believer. Dang it, Soul. Come on, man. Just have some whimsy. Player Maddie goes back on the far more realistic and solid pick. And it's &OR U, as we talked about, back on this Mei. That feels good. Just waiting patiently around the corner.
Yeah, I just want to kind of shout out this Symmetra play. I think Symmetra is really strong on King's Road, even though you don't have a Reinhardt to necessarily go with it. But your ability to just kind of take your team wherever you want. Like, I mean, look at how fast they move to this high ground. 30 seconds off the clock, and you've taken the high ground of the defense. Is really good to see. But also, Cuddle Puddle is kiting this incredibly well. Going through Hotel, trying to flip the map, and Bandit's going to be taken out actually first, which is a really surprising pick, actually. And so now the question is, what does Virtus Pro do from this position? I'm glad that you guys have this high ground, but you know, what do you really do about it besides drop to point eventually?
Admire the view. It looks certainly nice, doesn't it? How about you get a closer look there, Misery? It certainly is looking to be a miserable experience as Karma puts them in the Disruptor blender and takes them out. All that for a drop of blood, all that high ground for no ticks on the point. Soul forced to TP back out, and it's going to be a reset attempt here from VP.
Yeah, and in fact, it's not even a full reset. There's still 3 players kind of stranded on this high ground. I guess they still have an angle. But this Ram, I mean, what I think you should do if you're the side of virtus.pronouns is kind of, well, that's not what I was going to say. But now the problem is Misery is just main by himself. He's going to get run over. They do secure 1 tick, which is very cool to see. But now you're at such a disadvantage without your tank yet again. The Kiriko is going to be next to fall. And this looks like it's going to be a fight win for Cuddle Puddle. Sure, they gave up a tick, but 2 minutes and 30 seconds off the clock. I mean, I don't know if I love that. Yeah, I don't know if I love this from this. Maybe Fraxer gets traded. No, he doesn't get traded. And so,
oh man,
back to the drawing board for virtus.pronouns.
Beautifully. It was like you said. It was really wise tactics from Soul to play it through. But the fact that you left your entire front line right there being walled away, and/or you reminding this Ramatra why you needed to put the ball to run them over. And quite a bit of poke for their troubles. Also has the team as well. It's going to take some time for them to get back up to a clean bill of health. Kitsune Rush comes out as Confused Onion, trying to bring up some tears. Yura gets chopped up first, &OR U will fall right afterwards. Have that ult in pocket. That's significant, but Fraxer's here to make up for lost time and lost players as well. One more tank drops, and Karma's going to come right back for you. Balances the scales of justice. Vernix finishes off Soul, and that's going to be one last fight attempt there that Cuddle Puddle put down.
Wow, Cuddle Puddle is pissed. They are not giving anything. No space, no ults. I mean, they popped that rush early. They absolutely obliterate virtus.pronouns, and now they still have 4 ults in the back pocket. Virtus.pronouns have 4 of their own, and Bandit gets a nice opening pick on that Lucio. That's your beat shutdown, and that's actually a really bad pick. As long as Misery is able to stay alive over here, which that Blizzard is going to make it a lot harder, but you're going to pop that Annihilation, and you're going to try to stay alive. Oh my god, so many. Whoa.
The barrier comes out. Bandit's also got the overclock, and they're starting to put in overtime, baby. Annihilation runs through. Bandit finds one more, but Karma answers it back. It's not going to be enough to balance the scales off the balance of an amazing DPS play. Bandit steals away the point for VP.
Okay, I'm really glad that they got the point. A really good, solid, cap. However, both teams used a ton of ults there, but I think Virtus Pro committed 4 ults there. Their ult charges have been negated down to 0. They have the beat still available, yes. Cuddle Puddle, Fragster has the Annihilation. Vernic, oh, Fragster gets an opening pick on a Panda. That's so bad. You just can't have that happen.
These
walls
walls
are
from
disgusting.
Andoryu are
Chat,
destroying them. What can you do about
May?
it if you are
Can
VP?
Can we ban May? That's my reaction, and unfortunately, ooh. Okay, so both beats are still available, and Cuddle Puddle wins that without any ult usage, and so now they're still building up to that rush. They have this beat that they can use in turn. As long as they don't stack support ults, they should be fine. So we'll have to see how this next engagement goes in terms of ult usage.
Big disruptor. Slaps Soul on the head. Bandit gets dropped first. You gotta imagine the Cuddle Puddle might have put a target on the Sojourn's back, but Infused Onion will be knocked out, dropped like a sack of potatoes shortly afterward by Misery. In the backline, they recognize it too. Cuddle Puddle still has those 2 ultimates. No longer has Casino Rush to back them up. Not even necessary. These 2 fists are all the backup I need. Fragster continues to hold the front line, but a bit overextended. Trouble here for Andoryu. They did have to use some of that utility to keep themselves safe, as Cuddle Puddle cede a little bit of space to ensure safety.
Yeah, Soul's gonna swap over to that Genji, but I think you gotta mirror the Mei. These walls are disgusting. Misery is actually getting shut down on cooldown. The rush is going to be utilized from Cuddle Puddle here, and he's going to get run over. Misery is going to be the first to fall, and it's probably going to be a backtrack for virtus.pronouns, who don't really have any ults in their back pocket besides coming close to a rush. And Cuddle Puddle, they still have 2 ults of their own, still that Annihilation, still that beat, and now it's a problem for virtus.pronouns. They have a minute left, and they don't have 4 ults that they can pop to secure the win.
What a low investment there from Infused Onion to get so much space for Cuddle Puddle. Like you said, they're playing with the fire beneath them, despite the fact they're playing with the Ice Queen herself. Another great wall locks off Misery. This time they're able to back into their team's clutches to ensure they stay alive, but not without a lot of investment, and maybe not without a lot of risk. Genji going to also be putting their life on the line. Soul nearly bites it. Maddie, the sub, warm up off the bench, and also his Kasuni Rush. They get ready to use that as well. In fact, it'll drop, but it's instantly a Blizzard to try to cool off right afterwards.
Oh.
All those circuits can't work at below 0 as there's an instant 4-man wipe. Maddie, the sole survivor, watches in horror from the midst of her own ultimate. She got to turn back home. 30 seconds left.
Yeah, that was just... they waited perfectly for that rush to come through, and Andoryu decides, all right, guys, I'm going to drop a Blizzard directly on top of them and kill 4. How does that sound? And so beautiful plays there. Cuddle Puddle have 3 ults still in their back pocket. They have that overclock. They still have this. They've held this beat for a long time. 14 seconds left on the clock. Ults are coming to build up for pronouns here, but
it's got ult.
Your Lucio needs to build it.
Oh no,
he
the
doesn't pop
Annihilation. This is trouble.
God.
Werdix is the first one to fall, and it's Annihilation 4. Annihilation, but Mary turns back and sees no Lucio there to help them. Gonna be the beat coming back in from Ure. Andoryu falls beneath the wave of Crimson energy. And Fragster's got to back on up. Though Karma does get 1 more kill on top of Soul while stacking back. It's going to be OT. They can't deviate from the point this time around. Can't be any C9. VP need all the time and space they can get.
Yeah, Karma's going to be taking this off-angle fight with Bandit. Oh my god, almost gets the kill, but doesn't secure it. And Karma's taken down. The beat and the rush come through from Cuddle Puddle. There's no ults, however. Bandit finds a pick. Fragster finds 1. But the blade is still available here. And this is somehow going the way of virtus.pronouns, which is crazy to me because they popped so many fight ults in the last fight, and Cuddle Puddle had 2 still in the back pocket. I don't know how they're doing this.
Dragon Blade available. A contest ready for this touch. They have to stop them at this point. The wall comes through, but they don't separate anyone. That's not significant. Soul still in the sky and has that blade ready to unleash and descend upon them like a crow amongst carrion. They try to slice and dice, but it's a good bat. from the Lucio to make sure they get a bit more space. And or use finished off by Bandit. And in the back line, Genji begins to go to work. Could be Infused Onion up next, chopped up and added to the stew. Bandit drops the next support, finishes off Fragster, all but ensures that VP stay alive. 1 more minute 30 on the clock.
All right, we gotta keep watching this Bandit guy. This guy gets to 4K. That blade got some good value, got some cooldowns out, and caused some health bars to drop a little bit. But Bandit, man, he just, I mean, he just got a 4K.
Stole the show.
He just got a 4K. I'm sorry about it, but he just got a 4K. We're gonna see a swap here from Misery onto that Winston here. 3 ults from the side of virtus.pronouns, and Cuddle Puddle is gonna be coming up on a lot of their own. But no Q buttons are ready just yet, so this is gonna be kind of a neutral fight until you can build them. And this Winston's gonna try to jump on this left side, try to look for something to get done, and give Bandit an angle, which is really scary.
Doing protection as well. Little Pagoda to snipe from. Has the overclock in pocket. It's scary as well. It's going to be popped instantly. The Annihilation. Can you snipe down the Ramatra, though, before they do too much damage to the team? A Sound Barrier ensures that might very well be the case, but they instead decide to aim for squishier targets. Onion's already done ski. Looking to be more. Bandit makes it 2K. They're walking away with everything from the bank vault. As Misery drops down Wernix, Ure takes Karma. It's going to be one more easy advance for VP, but Cuddle Puddle have options. Can they find the retouch? It's a boot right back. 1 meter separates them, but the Blizzard will slow them down. Fragster with a body blow to Ure makes them drop as well. And or you. It's got damage. Winston's got the leap, but it's not going to be enough to get them out of danger's way. Soul will fall as well. 6 seconds left on the point, but Bandit's finally been detained. And Maddie will drop 2 at the edge of the 3rd. Cuddle Puddle, hold firm.
Golly, this is scary. All right, you know, I was talking a lot about how virtus.pronouns were popping their ults they were dumping all of them too often, right? They win a fight because they use 4 ults. They win a fight because they use 3 ults. The problem and the reason that they're still getting these fight wins is the fact that Cuddle Puddle are holding their ults for too long. There are multiple fights where this beat is just being held in the back pocket for this perfect opportunity to use it, but you don't really need to wait for the perfect opportunity. You can just pop it. It's okay. Like, from this replay right here, we held that beat for another minute. Like, you just can't have that happen. You finally pop it, and I mean, it's a problem. You need to actually use your Q buttons whenever. It's okay. You have your ultimates. You can use them here. And I mean, it's just not a good going. And so, you know, even though Cuddle Puddle finally gets the stop, and that's because virtus.pronouns, you know, had to dump everything to make sure the fight was won, it's still going to be a lot farther than I expected it to be, honestly. And now Cuddle Puddle have a challenge.
Yeah, given how stalewart the defense was at the start, it's a bit unfortunate. Again, it's kind of the same fatigue that we saw set in map 1. Cuddle Puddle can't let that same exhaustion overcome them. It's a battle of attrition here. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's going to be the sides reverse. At the very least, Cuddle Puddle know that as long as they reach that 3rd point, victory is assured. That's all they have to do, but first, you got to get the payload.
Yeah, interesting comp here from virtus.pronouns also. Swapping off of that Lucy to go to the Wu Yang, probably to output more damage. And we do see Soul on the Genji. Bandit on the Ashe. Ashe is definitely a pick here that we don't see all too often, especially with that Sode being available. Whoa, huge burn. And it looks like Misery is just going to punch through everybody. He has to keep himself alive, however. But, I mean, wow, that was... Okay, you pop your TP. That's really cool. However, Misery is just going to punch everybody in the face. They're going to fear as they have... I mean, that was not a good TP, and that's going to probably be a swap immediately.
Sometimes we put an MMA fighter in a preschool, just not a good result. a lot of drop bodies, a lot of punch skulls. You got to watch out there. Mary found the soft spot, and that's going to be it for them. Great work there by Ramatra. Well, Misery, particularly on that Ramatra. Fragster now going to try to find a way to answer back. Karma on the back end. Gets some solid damage off as a drop. Comes the next move. Misery walled off, but Bill's got their fighting gloves beneath him. Brass knuckles ready. Maddie on the side, trying to keep Misery healed up. Having a hard time though. Wernix ensures their end. It's Cuddle Puddle now trying to get a few more inches out of this tick. Already have one assured. Fragster drops Maddie as well. Not before they take down their Kiriko brother in arms. Soul takes down Andoryu, and the fight becomes a bit less tenable here for Cuddle Puddle. They might need to retreat back on home, make a new battle strategy.
Yeah, I mean, even though Misery falls there, they are able to secure the kills onto Cuddle Puddle, onto those squishies, leaving just Fragster, the last one alive. So congratulations on trading the tank. But Bandit finds an opening pivot on a Karma that's automatically a 4v5. And honest to God, if I'm Cuddle Puddle, I'm just leaving. I'm getting back to spawn. I'm waiting for my 5th. And I think that's exactly what they're going to do. And now you have ultimates to be considering. You have to be keeping track of these ults, right? The rush is available from the side of Cuddle Puddle. A lot of ults from the side of virtus.pronouns, actually. They have 3 in their back pocket, almost 95, 93, whatever. And they're going to be trying to rush through a hotel really fast. Wow, Misery, please live this.
What a freaking wall, but Ure says, I don't care how tough your ice is, the power of water compels you, and melts him instead. Fragster trying to put up a fight, but instead gets dropped by the lone bandit. 2K their way, and this Ashe is not stopping.
God, he actually has the dog buff right now. I swear
telling
that's
you.
real. I swear that's real. It's crazy what he's able to do. And now virtus.pronouns, they didn't have to use any fight or ults there. And so now this is going to be a huge ult dump fight. If I'm virtus.pronouns, I'm so careful. You cannot pop all 5 of your ults. That is the biggest no-no in the game of Overwatch. If you pop all 5 of your ults to secure the fight win, it's going to be game over. Not necessarily game over, but it's going to be this point over.
You want to try to hold it with everything you have. What more of an exclamation point do you need to ensure that you deserve this set victory than to hold your opponent before they can even get their hands to the cart? Soul's got that blade ready, but you know what we're all looking at? Bandit has ultimate as well. Soul might be the one to open up the gates, but Bandit's going to be the one to close it on the lives. Bob comes through. Sooner Rush from Infused Onion is a response, but they're already dead. Karma as well. Annihilation and Blizzard both pop, but everyone who uses an ultimate seems to die shortly after. And Oryu watches from the freezer. Does take down 2, but that is far less than what you need as player Maddie beats them into submission. 30 seconds left, and Cuddle Puddle have nothing left in the tank.
Okay, you know how I just said we can't all use all of our ults if I'm the side of virtus.pronouns?
Well,
Don't look now, but they might have used all 5. Thankfully, Cuddle Puddle also used 4 of their ults. Now they just have this overclock that's 82% incoming. If you can kill this Sojourn at the beginning of the engagement, you basically win this out right here, right now, as long as you win in the neutral fight.
Let's see if they can do it. Ure, the first one to fall, though. That's trouble. You've got to watch their own back and install for a bit more time while getting a bit more help. But Infused Onion, once again, the first to fall. On the other side, Karma and Adoryu, no cards left. Vernix will fall, and Fragster turns around only to realize they're the last one left, and they will drop as well. Virtus.Pronouns Academy get an A+ from us. That's map 2 their way.
Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I'm not giving them an A+. That was it. There are multiple things that both of these teams could have done differently. Just a really big shout out to Bandit for just being able to just do hit scan things. Really, just aim. Is this quartz? Is this quartz? Have we checked if this guy's quartz or not? That's my real question. But no, I think the ult usage is definitely something to be considered, because there were so many times where I was worried about over ulting from virtus.pronouns, but it didn't matter because Cuddle Puddle also over ulted. Right? They pumped all of their ults into the fight, and so it kind of negates the mistakes there. If I'm Cuddle Puddle on that last like 40 seconds, I'm going in knowing they have like 5 ults. I'm forcing out all of those ults that they so carelessly use, and then I'm going in the next engagement with my ults. But I don't really know why they decided to do that. Like in that fight specifically. They pop 2 ults and virtus.pronouns pop 4, but then they decide to keep committing. And you can't do that if you want to win the next fight. You have to think about the future as well as the present, right? You can't just bank everything on an ult fight win. You can't do that, especially when they can match you. And so now Cuddle Puddle, again, going to be in charge of the board, in charge of the bans, but I don't know where you go now. I don't know what your bans are looking like.
I think it might just be a case of panic. We talked about the fact that Cuddle Puddle probably feeling like they haven't had a win in a long time. And that was only that first round where they really felt dominant. All of a sudden, they see their opponent laying down some sick ultimate plays. They're like, hey, I can do that too, you know, and try to match them band for band, Q for Q. And unfortunately, instead, it results in their end. Now, they face match point. This could be really dangerous. Cuddle Puddle might be entering a dizzying decline in their mentals. They got to make sure they retain tranquility. Take some pages out of Zenyatta's book and keep calm, carry on.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely options that can be made in terms of maps. You can go back to another Brawl map. You can decide, hey, we didn't really like, maybe you get a Protect ban, try to force out that Mei a little bit more. I think if I'm the side of Cuddle Puddle, I really want to lean into my Mei compositions, because it didn't seem like virtus.pronouns really had any plays around them for the most part. I think Misery had a little bit of a tough time there on that defense, just getting walled off and kind of exploding, really. So you can take them to a Brawl map. what is it? Is it push next? Push is next.
Ugh, I hate push.
They can choose
choose
from any mode.
From any mode. Thank you.
Any mode.
Voice in the sky.
There's so many options now. Okay. That is that's okay. So now there's so many options on the table for where they want to go. I think you go to a push map and you try to ban. Maybe you get a protect ban, so you make sure your May gets through. You could ban out the hit scan potentially. There's options on the table. There's a drawing board somewhere. I'm not there yet, but there's a drawing board.
Well, we got some time to draft up some battle strategies. We're going to take a quick little break before we get to potentially the last map of the series, or maybe the advent of a reverse sweep off the backs of Cuddle Puddle. More CGL action after this. Don't go anywhere. Hello, everyone, and welcome on back to CGL Season 17 NA Diamond Division Week 2 kickoff here as we get back into it. Virtus.pronouns Academy looking to expel our friends, the Cuddle Puddle, from the school and from this series. It's 2-0, it's D-Lo, it's Mega Ninja 44, Hippie, and B, your almighty eyes in the sky. Ninja, how are we feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great. I know I didn't sound certain when I said that, but I do feel great. I feel good
Okay.
about this. I think if I'm Virtus Pronouns, I think I'm coming into this as Virtus Pronouns being the underdogs. Based off of just what I have seen from the statistics showing from Cuddle Puddle, I mean, these guys got second last season in CGL. They have the Rookie of the Year last year, season 15 damage roll star. So, like, I mean, there's definitely like a lot of accolades on this Cuddle Puddle roster. And so if I'm Virtus Pronouns and if I walk away with this with a 3-0, I'm feeling really confident about the rest of my regular season.
Yeah, the fact that you're able to so early on, and that is something worth noting. Like the context of this series is that synergies for teams that are still trying to get in their flow, understand their opponents. It's very early days, so if you're able to make bracket shakeups so early on, that feels awesome. Very commendable performance here so far from Virtus Pronoun Academy. But if we're to take a look at the over-sweeping actions of Cuddle Puddle, what would you say is the one piece of advice we need to see from them for them to get on that board?
I think it's such a major thing, and I've talked about it so much in this cast that we've had together so far, which I've loved our time together, by the way.
Likewise.
It's the ult management. It really is. If you are in a fight where there's 4 ults to 5 ults, and you watch the enemy team use all 5 of your ults, and you've only popped 2, I am walking away from the engagement, and I'm going, hey guys, they're down every ultimate. They have nothing for this next engagement. So
Yeah.
I'm saving my ults. I'm losing the fight. Not every fight has to be winnable. Not every fight has to be winnable. You can take a loss. It's okay to lose sometimes. And then you come back with your ultimates in such an egregious advantage that you can just kind of steamroll them. And I think Cuddle Puddle needs to use this because Virtus Pronouns, from what I've been watching, has been over-ulting so much. And you can definitely exploit that.
Yeah, I think sometimes when you're on tilt, especially, it becomes a lot more easy to goad you into a fight where you're like, oh, I'm not scared. You think I'm scared? I'm not freaking scared. It's like, you should be. Like, that's 4 ultimates. Like, just back off. There's no shame in taking a moment to recollect and taking the advantageous fight rather than the more epic one, I suppose. We're not here for glory. We're here for W's. And it's going to come down to the map potentially to decide if it is indeed going to be one of those for our friends on Cuddle Puddle. So it's Runasapi coming up next. I know you were advocating for some good old-fashioned push action. Well, here you go.
Yeah, I do like to consider myself the greatest analyst that CGL has to offer. So I'm gassing myself up a little bit with this map selection. Yeah, Runasapi, definitely an interesting one. Kind of enables your comp a little bit. Honestly, I'm gonna say a little bit less. The walls are not as powerful on this map than maybe some of the other pushes like Coliseo, or well, not really Esperance. Honestly, no push. No push really allows May as much.
Yeah.
And there were other options. So, it kind of, you could still run the May potentially, but there's an asterisk next to it in my head about why you pick Runasapi here. Definitely options on the table now for bans. I'm not sure exactly what the bans could be. Cuddle Puddle have bans in the back pocket now. I mean, you've been banning only DPS. You could maybe swap it up, go for a tank, go for support. I mean, we know that Misery liked playing that ball on Nepal. Maybe you ban out the ball. Maybe you ban out the Winston. Maybe you ban one of those dive tanks that can circumnavigate your Mei so easily. You could ban out the Kiriko or the Lucio. Make sure that you don't have to worry about beat as an ultimate to be watching for.
Yeah. There it is. Ball call is going to be what we see. I would have been okay with that or the Sojourn. I think it's hypermobile and really frustrates and forces a lot of attention from Cuddle Puddle is good. And it seems like they do a better job when a tank is just in front of you and more easy to kill and can be easily walled, like you said. So I wouldn't be surprised, even though this map might not be as advantageous for the Mei, I'm still not against it because it avoids us going with that strategy like we saw before where you see Andor, you're just constantly fluxing between different picks. You know what one of them cannot be? It's that Reaper, banned away by our friends on VP. I don't know.
That that one's weird. That one is weird. I mean, I don't think Cuddle Puddle ran Reaper for 1 life on Nepal when you were running Winston.
It's a scary life though, all right?
That's it right there. That's it. That's the tell. Misery is going to be on Winston. That's the tell right there. That Reaper ban right there, that tells me everything I need to know. The Winston's coming out.
I think that honestly is a pretty solid prediction from our best analyst that CGL has to offer. Print it. We'll find out if that's going to be the case, though, as you got to imagine tensions are a bit high there in the Cuddle Puddle VC. They do stand with their backs against the wall, but a cornered rat is always at its scariest. Teeth bared, claws out. Let's see what they can do.
Do rats have claws?
Yeah. Right?
Dude, I think so.
Oh, wait.
I'm just double checking.
Hold on.
You're the rat expert.
Wait, you genuinely might. Yeah, you might be onto something here. Hold on.
I actually don't know if that's true. Can we get a fact check on that?
Fact check. Best analyst.
Also,
best analyst here. I thought you should know this. What the hell?
I'm the best analyst when it comes to Overwatch. Listen, all I'm saying is I'm putting my entire. If I'm right about Misery warning out on the Winston, can I get a Discord role with my name exclusively that says best analyst in CGL? Please and thank you. Please don't fire me. I like this job.
Yes, rats have sharp, curved claws on their toes. There it is.
Oh, well, what do you know? I didn't. Fair enough. Fair enough. My fault. My fault. Okay. Well, do you corner a lot of rats?
Every rat in DC knows my face, let me tell you. If Hammond was on my block, that guy would not get even near me, all right? I wish Hammond would. But unfortunately, not an option for our friends on VP. So maybe instead is the Malga slop that you were dreading. We finally see it come out to play.
No, it's not over just yet. It's not over. They could swap. They could swap to Monkey. 4 seconds left. Please swap to Monkey.
Oh, they hate you, dude.
No, they hate me. They actually hate me. Oh, Malga's gonna be coming out. I lose my role on the Discord, unfortunately. This is a very interesting comp here from virtus.pronouns, actually. Malga, Brig, Juno. Even though the Curie Lucio is available, and that's what Cuddle Puddle is gonna be running, and also Bastion May. I don't know again if I love the May as much, but we'll have to see how this first engagement goes.
That reticle is crazy from Misery. But so is the Bastion play. So is that amazing wall. Gonna put Misery in the blender alongside Karma. That's exactly what that camp is meant to do. Shred tanks as they slam their head against the ice.
I think that wall was really avoidable. Unfortunately, Misery runs into oncoming traffic and decides that that wall is the best place for his head to go. So there's going to be a quick reset from virtus.pronouns, and Cuddle Puddle now has the advantage, already building up a ton of meterage, but they're going to get a re-engage here. 33 meters for Cuddle Puddle, but no ults on the board just yet. Nothing to talk about, at least.
Okay, wall does separate. Cardiac Overdrive forced out there from the Malga, but it's a retreat rather than an engage. Karma does get taken out, though, which does grant a lot of insurance to Misery now. Soul on the 2K takes down Wernix as well. Executing will fall in trade. That does mean both supports off the board for Cuddle Puddle. No support left. Fragster will collapse into hospice care, and it's an unfortunate defeat on that fight. VP trying to reestablish dominance and take back the point.
Honestly, I like the comp from Cuddle Puddle more in this matchup. You know, if they were running the Winston Curie Lucio that I thought that virtus.pronouns were going to be running, I think that I'd be liking virtus.pronouns comp a lot more. But this comp that they're on right now is so susceptible to that May. The Malga can get walled off so easily, and his way out is to turn around his big old self and try to run for his life, but he's just not going to be able to do that. And also the Sigma plays really well into him, but he's going to drop low all of the time, and it looks like maybe virtus.pronouns are able to get this forward progress going. Yes, it looks like they're going to get the lead here. Malga's running right back in. So, no care for his life or anybody else's, as he's going to be taken down from this engagement. There's ults now. Oh my god, virtus.pronouns exploitable.
Souls takes down one. Bandit drops one more. The double DPS duo are absolutely frying them. They find 4, and Yurei finishes off the last with a whip of her mace. It's a team kill for VP.
Yeah, despite Misery eating crayons on that Malga character, Soul and Bandit are able to do so much with these DPS ults. I thought that fight might have been over, but they decide that it's winnable. Bandit's going to be forced out of this high ground. The Bastion configuration also utilized. I don't know if it's going to find any value. No, nothing to be found just yet. Cuddle Puddle have a couple ults in the back pocket. The Ray could be used here, but you have to be careful of this May ult.
Armor drops down, looking for the Malga clearly, but the wall this time is not able to cut off their retreat. The Orbital as well. Trying to find a bit more backup. Soul couldn't find any. They go down. Nordoyu does have that Blizzard. The back pedal is going to ensure it's not going to find its use just yet. Suzu comes out, but Malga can't quite retreat because they have a wall at their back. Cornered Rat, maybe at their weakest in this case. Executing will finish them off, and Cuddle Puddle can try to regain their point now. 6 minutes left on the board. It starts to get to this point where any victory, any forward momentum made, it becomes that much harder. It takes that many more consecutive fights to get back to your side.
We're gonna have to see what happens from Cuddle Puddle here. They have the ult advantage. I don't know if I love this Mauga. You ban the Reaper, you could run the Monkey here. It's okay to run the Monkey here. But virtus.pronouns gonna stop the objective from getting any farther, but this Blizzard could be utilized here once this run, yeah, that runs through, that means Blizzard's coming out. I'm sure of it.
Player Maddie's already through. Maybe you don't even need the ultimate, but the rally could force it out. Really tries to step forward. Soul does take down Karma, and maybe holding on to these ultimates too much, a bit too much restraint as Bandit and Soul find two. Yuri, though, does go down in return. The Gravity Flux comes through, and Soul gets a nice little view from the sky before they get sent right back down. It's a 3K from Fragster, reasserting dominance and reminding you just why you had to fear him round 1, map 1.
Yeah, beautiful stealth there from Fragster on that Sigma. Again, I can't tell if it's me thinking about ult charges or if it's Cuddle Puddle's absolute insane trigger discipline to not shoot the bullet for these ults, because they still have the Blizzard, they still have the Blade. Soul is going to touch so they don't get that lead, but virtus.pronouns have 3 ults of their own. You just have to be careful with this Blizzard. This Blizzard is so powerful, you cannot get hit by it.
Malcolm knows that too. You don't want to be caught in a cage when it's dropped below 0. Suzu on top of the Bastion to ensure that Misery can't easily take them down. And nonetheless, Soul gets an instant 4K off the back of the Mauga cage. It's Hell in a Cell, and all 5 members of Cuddle Puddle are reduced to ash and a puddle of gore. What an amazing team synergetic play.
Oh my god, that made me sick to my stomach there. They pop the beat and just get evaporated. Actually just removed from the face of the earth. They all get turned into a fine mist. But Andoryu gonna find that pick on a Bandit who has the only ultimate that virtus.pronouns has available to them. So they are gonna have to back up here. Soul's gonna actually dash on in. That's a really interesting dash here. Now I think you have to be worried for your life. However, Karma gonna be taken down actually, and we're still holding on to this Blizzard. We've had this for like 4 fights now, and somehow virtus.pronouns is gonna win this up and still they're gonna get forward spawn and more push progress.
Another team kill, as if VP hadn't declared their dominance enough. I know the Gopher saw its shadow, the Groundhog went back in his tunnel. Does that mean that there's 4 more weeks of winter or 4 more weeks until we see the next May ult come out? The artillery strike comes through, but again, no value. Didn't even get you a bit of respect off that point. Now it's going to come down to the Blizzard around the corner. It does find a bit of extra poke, but even though the wall comes through, it wasn't where you needed. This Mauga gets brought down, but a lot of investment necessary to execute. He grabs the health pack, trying to make sure to keep the backline safe. It is a hasty retreat as Soul falls down, but not all of VP was wiped out.
Yeah, VP is going to be able to kite out with the remaining players, and they finally used that Blizzard from the side of Cuddle Puddle. Wow, what a... it was a lot of cooking. I think they got 2 batch melts before that first Blizzard came through.
Yeah.
The rush,
Okay, hold on. Bandit, those got ultimate. Gonna get high in the sky and instantly drop back down. Maddie and Bandit fall, and Fragster once again just managing to find an amazing play. It seems like, though, Misery might be the facilitator. Fragster is not only the tank, but the DPS. It's a team kill this time, going Cuddle Puddle's way.
Okay, can I have my rollback? I'd like my rollback. We swapped to a Monkey. I'd like my rollback at Prod, at Observers, at everybody.
There it is.
They're going to swap to the Monkey now off of the Mauga, which I think is really good. The beat is available here for Cuddle Puddle, and they can use this properly, hopefully, but we'll have to see how this Winston plays, and we're going to have to see if Soul's able to get something done here because they're so close to this Blade.
It's going to make Fragster's job a bit harder as well. The Mauga, of course, pours endless lead into the Eat. Gives Sigma a hefty overshield. This time around, no such luck, but Negration instead is what the Winston needs. Like peanut butter, chewing on rocks, buddy. Bandit, trying to get a bit extra poke off. Andoryu the first to fall. Yuri takes him down in the midst of the rally. Soul's got that blade ready, but no cage to back them up. What utility can they find? Bandit can't find the last shot off the over, and that means Execute takes them out, but both Kitikos on each side getting their hands a bit dirty. Fragster falls at player Maddie's hands, and Soul finishes off the Kitty as well. VP take re-control of the point, and with 2 minutes left, it's starting to look dire for Cuddle.
Hey, look at that. Virtus pronouns are on double flex DPS. We talked about that at the very beginning of the cast. And
All
they're
back.
going to swap over to that Tracer. Holla. But now ults are online. You did pop that beat earlier, so now this blade is going to be kind of for free. You're going to have to hope that you can get some kind of value. Maybe maybe you blizzard your... There's a world in which you blizzard yourself to try to stop the blade from getting any value. That's something that could happen for sure.
The Bastion pouring lead even through the deep flank, knowing that the Sigma could take it. Soul in the blade lifts up only the dragon, and that's going to make them come right back down. A rock upon descent, and Misery will fall as well. Coordination, just what you needed from Andoryu and the tank, and it could very well result in a third player on the platter. Maddie's dead too.
Yeah, I think... Honestly, I'm okay with this fight if I'm the side of Virtus pronouns. You just popped the blade, and they used Blizzard and Flux. I'm totally okay with that. Now they have both their support ults, Cuddle Puddle does. Well, kind of both support ults. And they have that Bastion ult coming online. They do take the fort spawn, but this Primal is still available. Bandit's going to be on this flank angle and really close to this Pulse Bomb. If you can get a Pulse Bomb onto Executed before that rush comes out, just kidding, there's the rush. And Misery going to be the first to fall. This Pulse Bomb is going to be able to get... Oh, so many people are so low, but they're not able to secure the kills. And oh my god, Soul is trying so hard, and so is Bandit. Fragster's left, and he's gonna fall. That's incredible. An incredible display from the DPS to secure the fight win. Oh my god, Soul and Bandit are so good. They're so good.
Misery and Maddie both fall very early in the fight, but it's the legacy that Maddie leaves behind, that Kitsune rush making all the difference to allow Soul and Bandit all the speed, both attack and movement, necessary to finish the job and do the dirty work. Karma, once again, just reminds you that, hey, I'm still playing Bastion, by the way. They say, we know, buddy. We know. What comes through but finds no value in Maddie. Going to be trying to back up Misery as they go hog, go ham, go ape. Wall.
Yeah, Primal's going to be utilized here. Trying to get something done. This rally is so much pressure. Soul's going to get the kill onto Execute. Fracture gets the trade onto Yuri, and now we're in a predicament of a situation as Virtus pronouns don't have anything in the back pocket. Bandit's going to be the next to fall. Soul and Bandit have their ults coming up online, but Cuddle Puddle has that Blizzard up coming next, and this is coming into last fight territory. Soul is still getting trades. Soul is still getting trades. Somebody stop him. Somebody stop him,
Fracture's
please.
getting bodies, though, at the same time, and Dory going to combine for one more. But again, the later you get in this map, the later you get in this mode, the more consecutive fights you need to win to ensure victory. No one can take a foot, nary a toe, off the battle bot as we approach the last fight. VP, a grim sense of duty, a Dragon Blade in pocket. Soul knows what they must do. But will they be able to live with their sins right after, or will they have to kill them all to live with it in the first place? Bandit has the ultimate as well in pocket. Soul pops the blade, and Misery manages to drop Executing before they're frozen in place. Soul erases Weirnix, but it manages to escape the gravitic flux in the sky. Karma exploded into scrap metal, and Cuddle Puddle will not find their get back this go around. It's a clean sweep from VP.
We gotta sign Soul and Bandit. We gotta sign them. I mean, that was just... Oh my god. I was so worried about that next engagement. All they had was Blade and Pulse Bomb. And Soul has the Blade available, but I mean, they're just gonna Blizzard point, right? Wrong. You're wrong. You're actually incorrect. Soul decides to dash out of the way of the Flux and the Blizzard to make sure that his Blade gets value, finds the Lucio, and Execute gonna be taken down early on that engagement. I mean, what a beautiful play from Virtus pronouns to secure the 3-0. I mean, really strong stuff from, honestly, both of these teams.
It just seemed like it was a tale of two players on each side that were working hand in hand, and that was Soul and Bandit. And then on the other side, it was Fragster and Andoryu. And unfortunately, Andoryu just couldn't endure. Neither could Fragster. Just seemed like even when Fragster was trying their best to put the team on their back, their shoulders just were not strong enough to carry that weight.
Yeah, I mean, listen, also got to talk about the supports from both of these sides. I think Maddie did an incredible job leaving that rush behind and enabling Bandit and Soul to do what they did. Also, shout out to Onion and Veranex for what they were able to contribute. I think their beats were massive. I think the rushes were massive. I was a little interested by that Juno Brig comp that they ran a little bit into that third map. But I mean, hey, it had potential, it had value. So, you know, obviously we talk about the players that show up on the kill feed the most, obviously, but we also have to shout out the supports. I mean, they did an incredible job. Oh, I just realized in that replay that Soul Ajaxed. or sorry, that solo Ajax to Cuddle Puddle. That's a rough replay.
Hard to watch if you're a Cuddle Puddle fan, but if you're a fan of good Overwatch, you can recognize the pedigree before you from all 10 of these players, and certainly a deserved victory. Like you said, a bracket upset in a sense. Obviously very early in the season, so we're not going to quite figure out who belongs where just yet, but if you look at the numbers, you look at the stats, virtus.pronouns Academy pulled off a very impressive show of their abilities up against a very worthy opponent.
Yeah, I mean, really solid stuff from both of these teams. I'm honestly, I'm hoping to cast either of these teams again. If I can keep casting games of this level, I definitely want to catch more of this because I think that there's so much potential for both of these teams, and I want to see how they fare in the regular season before we go into something like playoffs, right?
Well, so long as Hippie doesn't fire you for that best analyst comment, there's a good chance we might see more of them.
I think there's some justification behind it. You know,
you know what? You called out the Winton. I'll give you that. It was a few minutes in, but we certainly saw it. And we also got some Malga slop while you're at it. So, you know, everyone who is hungry for a bit of that, your tummies are feeling nice and good right now. You can go to bed and sleep soundly. But as you guys saw, at the end of the day, it is going to be a virtus.pronouns Academy 3-0 sweep on their end. Cuddle Puddle, better luck next time. You certainly still played well. But with that, that's all the Overwatch we're going to have for you here today on CGL Season 17, Week 2, and a diamond tier between virtus.pronouns Academy. Amazing victory. And our friends on Cuddle Puddle as well. We're going to hippity hop right back in just a second with the winners interview too. So stick around. You saw their plays. You want to hear their voices. Don't you guys dare go anywhere. More CGL in just a bit. Hello, everyone, and welcome on back to CGL Season 17 and a Diamond Division Week 2 kickoff here between our friends on VP Academy, who took the victory up against Cuddle Puddle 3-0. D-Lo, Mega Ninja here in the booth. B, Hippie, your almighty eyes in the sky. You watching at home, and here to join us, our friend Bandit. They steal your heart. They'll steal your life, too. After an amazing victory, Bandit, how we feeling?
I am hyped up.
You should be. You absolutely murdered it there. It was very impressive to watch you on the field. 4Ks, 3Ks, 2Ks, your way. It was beautiful. But the question I got to ask you, we talked about at the very beginning of the game, the dog in the house. Is that affecting your gameplay? How did that affect your gameplay? Tell us how it informed
The
it.
dog, and yeah, he actually came up like midpoint Kings Row there after we did full cap, and he looked at me, and I knew right then, like we're gonna have to full hold this. Mr. Peanut Butter said so.
Mr. Peanut Butter is that his real name?
That is his real name.
That's his real name. Wow. Okay. Interesting. No, I have a quick question, and it involves the future, right? We can talk about this game all we want, but I wanted to talk to you about the future. You have a dog, obviously, but thoughts on the new characters? How do you think that they're going to shake up the meta? Do you think any characters are insanely broken? Do you guys think you're going to be scrimming maybe Domina is going to be your guys' new starting tank or Jetpack Cat? Obviously, just to do. What are you guys thinking up there?
So I actually spent like 6 hours last night writing a whole document about this. So I'm going to read that entire thing for you right now. No, but TLDR, the cat is insane. The ability to reposition a tank is awesome. I'm going to force my tank to play Domina, and I think we're just going to take high grounds. Everyone else, it's strange that Blizzard is going in a direction of like making their DPS pretty weak, but outside of that, like the cat's insane.
Okay. So you think Honoron is weak? You think Honoron is weak?
I think Onron's very weak.
Wow. Okay. Very, very, very interesting take. Actually, I've heard other things, but okay. Now we've gotten the future side. I'd like to talk about the present. You guys obviously you guys 3-0'd, and it wasn't close. I was a little worried after Kings. After you guys' defense. But I mean, listen. The end of the day, you guys 3-0'd this team, and I don't know if you guys knew this about this team, but these guys got second place last season in CGL.
Wow.
And so now I have to ask, how are you guys feeling after a win like that? What does that mean in terms of your hopes for the regular season, for like how far you guys could go if you guys make it to playoffs?
I mean, I've known some of these people on my team for quite a while. This is our first time kind of getting together and playing, but
Nice.
all very skilled players, and I mean, we could easily go all the way. I think we're absolutely the favorites after this match.
I like that confidence. Can't blame him for it after you see those plays. They absolutely murdered it. Bandit, my friend, get a bit more in the granular there. There were moments that me and Megan just saw, especially on that first map, that kind of set the tone, set the pace, where you were on the Ash, sniping away. Sojourn, same story. And at a certain point, you could see the energy shifted. You could see the members of Cuddle Puddle recognize you as a threat. How do you feel like you, mentally and also gameplay-wise as a player, respond to when the pressure is on and you recognize that you are target numero uno?
I mean, that's the life of playing hit scan in this day and age. But I love the feeling, especially when I know I can get that sig shield out on a weird off angle, like on the high ground. I'm able to, get that comms out to my team, like, hey, they now are just directly looking at me. It's time for y'all to go wreak havoc. And if a team is going to turn 4 people to an Ash alone on the side, I'm going to have my ball and Genji drop in there and mess them up.
And man, that is exactly what happened. Playing for the team while at the same time still making sure to get yours. Bandit, you are an absolute monster. I hope you continue to evade the law and steal away some more sets, my friend. Any shout-outs you want to give before you head on back to celebrate with the team?
I'm just shout out the team. This is they take a flyer on me as my first time IGLing. So that King's Row spawn flip was just cinema. That's my shout out.
I really did like that flip, actually.
It was beautiful. Bandit, my friend, amazing work. You should really be proud of your plays. Make sure to send our congrats as well to the rest of the squad. You have a good rest of your night.
Thank you.
Well, you heard it there first, Ninja. From the one who murdered everyone without even really having to break a sweat. Bandit, certainly a player to fear. VP, a team as well to be terrified of. But with that being said, folks, with those words being spoken, that is all the Overwatch we're going to have for you here today on CGL Season 17, Week 2, and a Diamond Tier kickoff. Virtus Pronouns Academy, a hearty well done. Cuddle Puddle, better luck next time. I've been D'Lo, joined here in the booth by Mega Ninja 44, Almighty Eyes in the Sky, Hippie, and the Bee, keeping the prod lights on, that cam steady. Please thank our production for all they do. We cannot yell at games without them. And last, but certainly not least, thank you, loyal, obedient viewer, for your time. We hope you've enjoyed this series just as much as we have. Keep an eye to the sky for more CGL content coming at you in the future. And until then, good games and good night.
Bye.